Ask anyone how Dubai went from fishing village to a skyline of glass in 60 years, and you'll get one word: oil. Ferraris, indoor ski slopes, the world's tallest building, obviously oil. Except here's the number that breaks the story. Oil today is less than 1% of Dubai's economy. Not 50%, not 10, 1. And it gets stranger, Dubai never really had much oil to begin with. The vast reserves next door belong to Abu Dhabi, its richer, quieter neighbor. Dubai's own oil was found late, flowed modestly, and started fading almost immediately, which means the world's flashiest petro-city is actually something much more interesting. A desert trading post that saw the end of oil coming before it even arrived, and bet everything on a different resource entirely: position. Today on the Money Atlas, the real Dubai playbook, ports, planes, and free trade islands, and the near-death experience written on its tallest tower. Quick thing before we dig in. If you enjoy stories that make the world make sense, subscribing is the best way to see the next one, and it costs you nothing. All right, let's get into it. Look at Dubai's actual economy: trade and logistics, finance, tourism and real estate, aviation. And there at the bottom, the rounding error: oil under 1%. Compare that to our Norway and Venezuela episode, where oil was the whole story, or to Saudi Arabia's NEOM, a $1 trillion attempt to escape oil's gravity. Dubai is the city every petrostate wants to become, which is the great irony. It got there mostly because it was never truly a petrostate. Its oil came in 1966, small and brief, a bridge, not a foundation. And the man in charge treated it exactly that way, with a sentence that should be carved above every finance ministry on earth. Sheikh Rashid, Dubai's ruler from 1958, put it like this: "My grandfather rode a camel. My father rode a camel. I drive a Mercedes. My son drives a Land Rover. My grandson will drive a Land Rover. But his grandson will ride a camel again." Meaning, oil is a moment, not a future. Most resource rulers say something like this in speeches. Rashid said it and then governed like he believed it, because 7 years before a single barrel was found, he had already made the bet that defines Dubai to this day. In 1959, ruling a poor pearl diving town, he borrowed millions from Kuwait to dredge a muddy creek. Why a creek? Because Rashid understood what Singapore understood, and if you've seen our Singapore episode, this will feel familiar. Dubai sits at the hinge of 3 continents: Europe to the west, Asia to the east, Africa below. A third of humanity lives within about a 4-hour flight. For centuries, Dubai's creek had been a smuggler's and trader's harbor for dhows running to India and Iran. Rashid's insight: oil runs out, but geography is forever. The Gulf Singapore was an open position, and somebody was going to take it. So he dredged the creek for bigger boats, built an airport when the town had sand streets, and welcomed every merchant, whatever their passport. The strategy never changed again. Whatever moves, goods, planes, money, people, make it move through Dubai. Here's the chapter the glossy documentaries skip. Before oil money, before skyscrapers, Dubai's first modern fortune was gold, smuggled more or less openly to India. In the 60s and 70s, India banned private gold imports. Demand, of course, didn't vanish. Dubai's merchants filled the gap with fleets of wooden dhows carrying tons of bullion across the Arabian Sea. At its peak, tiny Dubai was one of the world's largest gold importers, importing, officially, for re-export. The rulers taxed it lightly, asked few questions, and reinvested the profits in docks and warehouses. Judge the ethics as you like, but notice the DNA it built. Whatever the trade, if the world wants it moved, Dubai will move it and never moralize about the cargo. That instinct built the ports built everything else. Then, with the brief oil money, Dubai made its scale move, and it looked insane. In the late 70s, Rashid ordered Jebel Ali, a port far bigger than tiny Dubai could possibly justify, the largest man-made harbor ever dug, visible from orbit. Advisors called it a white elephant. Sound familiar? Here's the difference from the megaprojects that fail. Jebel Ali wasn't a message. It was capacity in the path of real existing trade. When container shipping exploded, our episode 8, Dubai was standing there with the region's only super port. Today, Jebel Ali moves over 19 million containers a year and anchors the entire Middle East's logistics. Build ahead of demand works, but only when the demand is real and the geography is yours. But hardware alone doesn't attract capital, rules do. Dubai's masterstroke was legal, not physical, the free zone. Starting with Jebel Ali's zone in 1985, Dubai built dozens of jurisdictional islands where foreign companies could own 100% of their business, repatriate every dirham, and, in the financial district DIFC, even operate under English common law with imported judges. Think of it as the Ireland model from our last episode, but instead of bending its whole tax code, Dubai carved out districts and imported credibility wholesale. Internet City for tech, Media City for broadcasters, DIFC for banks. Companies didn't move to the Gulf. They moved to little islands of London and Singapore, parked on Gulf sand. The same play in the sky. In 1985, Dubai launched Emirates Airline with $10 million and 2 leased planes. The bet: Dubai's location makes it the perfect connecting point between everywhere and everywhere else. Europe to Australia, Africa to Asia, all naturally via Dubai. Open skies for all airlines, a duty-free wonderland, and an airline built for connection rather than destination. Today, DXB is the busiest international airport on the planet, 92 million passengers a year, and Emirates is a giant. Millions of those passengers only ever see the terminal, and every one of them pays Dubai a toll in fees, shopping, and often a stopover stay. The creek strategy at 35,000 feet. The same audacity got applied to tourism, an industry Dubai had no natural right to. No ancient ruins, no rainforest, beaches that boil in summer. So Dubai manufactured attractions the way other cities manufacture goods. The sail-shaped Burj Al Arab, marketed as the world's only 7-star hotel, a rating that doesn't exist, invented by the marketing. Palm-shaped islands visible from space. The tallest tower ever built. An indoor ski slope in a mall kept snowy at 45 degrees outside. Each icon was economically irrational alone, and rational as advertising for the whole city. Result: 17 million plus visitors a year, a top 3 most visited city on Earth. The lesson pairs with NEOMs. Icons work when they anchor an existing machine of airports and hotels, not when they are the machine. Fuel all of this with one more unusual input: people imported almost entirely. Dubai's population exploded from 40,000 in 1960 to 4 million today, and about 92% are foreigners. Indian engineers, Filipino nurses, British bankers, Kenyan entrepreneurs. Dubai sells them no citizenship and taxes almost no income. The deal is opportunity for residents, not belonging. It is globalization distilled into a city-state, with all the dynamism that brings, and real costs too. The kafala labor system that built the towers has drawn years of criticism, and a no-questions-asked property market has made Dubai a magnet for the world's gray money. The model is dazzling, it is not innocent. And once, the whole thing nearly died. Dubai's 2000s real estate mania, Palm Islands, off-plan flipping, debt on debt, met the global financial crisis. And in November 2009, the state conglomerate Dubai World froze payments on tens of billions. Markets worldwide shuddered. The desert miracle was, briefly, a desert default. Salvation came from next door. Oil-rich Abu Dhabi wired $20 billion. The price was written on the skyline. The Burj Dubai, the tallest building ever built, opened weeks later under a new name, Burj Khalifa, after Abu Dhabi's ruler. Every visitor who photographs it is reading a receipt. Dubai's genius is real. So is the quiet safety net of its neighbors' oil. And the honest audit must include the gray ledger, because it's not a bug, it's the old DHOW DNA at modern scale. When sanctions hit Russian wealth in 2022, Dubai became its favorite harbor. Villas on the Palm bought in cash, jets re-registered, fortunes re-domiciled, and the same welcome extends to capital fleeing crackdowns anywhere. International watchdogs placed the UAE on their money laundering gray list for a stretch. Investigations keep mapping sanctioned money to Dubai towers. The city's defenders answer, "We're neutral infrastructure." Switzerland said the same for a century. Remember episode 1. The parallel is exact, including its price. Neutrality pays magnificently until the world decides you're not neutral, just convenient. Put Dubai next to NEOM, and the lesson snaps into focus. Both are desert Arab visions of a post-oil future. But Dubai's rise took 60 years of unglamorous sequencing. Dredge a creek, then a port, then a bigger port, then a zone, then an airline, each bet cash flowing before the next was placed. NEOM tried to buy the end point in one purchase. Dubai never had enough oil to afford that fantasy, and that poverty was its greatest asset. Like Switzerland's mountains and Singapore's size, scarcity forced discipline. The camel prophecy wasn't pessimism, it was the business plan. So no, Dubai is not what oil built. It's what the fear of no oil built. The Gulf Singapore, assembled from a creek loan, a too-big port, borrowed law, an airline of layovers, and 4 million imported dreams. Fragile in crashes, flashy on the surface, and underneath it all, running the oldest strategy in this series. Stand where the world must pass and be useful when it does. If this changed how you see the glitz, do 3 quick things. Tap like so more people find the video. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And turn on notifications because next time we stay at the airport after your flight leaves. Airlines go bankrupt constantly. Airports almost never do. Parking, perfume, and monopoly math. How airports really make money. All the sources are in the description. This has been the Money Atlas. See you in the next one.